Here we are with the second to last episode of Orb on the Movements of the Earth. Now Novak died, Draka died, and we are in Poland. Let's see if Albert makes an important decision. Let's watch it together. He's not convinced yet. Nah. Oh! Yeah. Yeah, that's not something that makes him satisfied. That's not the point, yeah, of living life. Ah, I thought he was the father. Okay. Who is Albert's father? Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if he's honest to himself. That's a good suggestion. I mean, he didn't force him to go on with something he didn't like. Yeah, that's the most important advice. No matter what people think, go on. Yeah, I think this man is trying to push him to do what he likes. Oh, he likes constellations. But this happens after. I mean, this man is dead now, and he remembers what he heard from him. Maybe not. Let me see. I hope that when he goes, somebody is not coming here to kill him. So when Albert comes back, he sees him dead. I don't know. There was that flash for a second. Who is the new priest here? So he's gonna confess first, so we understand his point of view. Yeah, in order to confess, you need lots of courage anyway, and to confess your sins. So Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. I think that man asked Albert to go. I don't want to say on purpose, but this makes sense. I would never trust a priest sincerely because he's a human being like me. So why do I have confessed my sins to another human being? Mm. So it's his first confessional too. He wants to do astronomy. Mm. Mm. Yeah, this is true. I mean, to talk to other people sometimes refreshes your mind and soul. Let's see what he has to narrate. Hmm, okay. No, we don't have the chance to know. Oh, okay. Mm, okay. Ah, so that was his father in the moment we saw. Ah, yeah, this is for sure. And the father was saying something correct. Okay. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so he got knowledge. Okay. It means you really liked it. But then something happened. Nice questions. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely. Mm. Um, yeah, partially. I mean, the thing he said about doubting is totally fine to me. But when he said, if it doesn't help a humankind, don't go ahead, no. In that case, no. It doesn't matter if it's helpful for humankind or not. Keep doubting everything and go ahead learning, that's the best thing. What? Wait, what? Wait a second, how old is Rafal here? Wait, but this is before he died, right? Ah, Potoki, right? Mm. 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 No, go ahead. No, no. Why? Who said that? Okay, your father, but that's why he knows how to connect. Yeah. I mean, Rafael inspired Albert so much. But anyway, this was before dying. Yeah. Yeah. That's correct. I'm so happy that Albert had a connection with Rafal because it's like it's like as if we close the circle right now. Mm. Yeah, me too. In fact, that's what happened. Yeah. No, in fact, this is completely wrong. I don't agree. They say that Rafal it's definitely better than what the father said. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Rafael was such a great inspiration, but we have to understand why he stopped, why Albert stopped. Yeah, so many. I'm so happy. Uh, Albert had the most amazing tutor. Yeah. Of course. But Okay, but something needed to happen because Albert changed completely. So I don't understand what's missing here. These were the most amazing places. That would be nice if even nowadays we could create something like this. Wow, it's like going at the end of the circle because this story is surprising me more and more and more. I was very surprised to see that Rafal was inspiring Albert so much. And when I saw him, I was like, wait a second, Rafal died or not? Yes, he died. So when did he meet Albert? Of course, before dying. So he had the chance to die in peace. And I think that now we understand why Rafal didn't have the fear of dying. Because he left not only that testament that we know inside that stone chest for Badeni, Oxy, and whatever, but he left another testament that we didn't know. That means all his knowledge, what he knew, to Albert. Now I understand even the way in which Rafael was very satisfied no matter the consequences. He was very honest towards Albert's thoughts. He was telling him lots of great things that I also agree. First of all, when he says, even if it doesn't concern humankind, who cares? I mean, knowledge doesn't need to be useful to humankind only. You can satisfy your knowledge based on curiosity, and even if it's satisfying you only, it's not a matter of selfishness. It's just like the fact that you want to learn. Personal knowledge is very important. I mean, it doesn't matter if you share the things you know or not. It's very important for us only sometimes to know certain things and develop this knowledge by ourselves. And other times it's very nice to share these thoughts. At the end of the episode, we see that Rafael shows him an important meeting that was held several times in that city, in that village. It was very beautiful to see how many people could share their thoughts, no matter if it was good, no matter if it was bad, no matter if it was controversial or not. Those meetings were very nice to see because all people were not judged, but there was always the curiosity to hear different opinions and feel amazed by those. Yeah, at the end of the episode, I was saying it would have been so nice to have these same places in the world we live right now, where you can share these thoughts and feel comprehended and feel listened. That would be so amazing. Unfortunately, nowadays we have the contrary problem. I mean, the more we have different opinions, the more we fight and the more we take sides. That's the mistake, because we are too influenced by the society we live in, and we are not curious anymore to go a step beyond what's told to us. And that's why I think that this period was the most prolific, because in that period of time, even if those meetings were a little bit secret, because of course they could have not been exposed to society that these people were meeting and they were talking about this, about that, etc., etc., etc. But those meetings were very nice, were very propositive, because in those meetings there was not a matter of fighting. There was a way to communicate, a way to share and extend your convictions, extend your beliefs, extend your thoughts. And so I can see the propositive way of doing these things. I don't understand what happened to Albert, sincerely, later after, because probably he got in touch with the news that Rafael died, and that's why he felt scared of keep trying to learn things. Something happened to his father, because now we understand that the man who's handling the bakery is not his father, while in the previous episode I thought that that was his father. Something happened to the father at this point, because even the father was interested, but I don't think he gave Albert the right suggestion, because he was saying keep doubting, and I agree with these, because I also tell you many times through my thoughts, keep doubting what you see, keep doubting about the society you live in, keep doubting about everything that is surrounding you, because nothing is taken for granted, and this is something that is obvious, right? But at the same time, I don't agree with him when he says learn just when it's useful for humankind. No. In that case, I don't agree, because you don't have to know, you don't have to learn just because of the sake of other people. You have to learn because of yourself. Because let's remember this. We are born as individuals. And of course, then we get in touch with the community. Of course, we get in touch with the society itself as it is and whatsoever. But we don't have to forget that we are born as individuals. We should learn for ourselves first, in order then to inspire what's outside. If you feed the outside more than the inside, you miss the point. You miss the fact that you're not doing anything for yourself. Let's just say that individuals are like roots, and then all the rest comes after, when you can create the trunk of the tree and then all the leaves of the tree, you know. But if you don't feed the roots, the leaves can't breathe. I think that that's the most important thing. You should feed your curiosity first, without being afraid of what you might discover, because that's another point. I mean, throughout this story, we have learned that many people are afraid to expose themselves. Many people are afraid to tell things because they are afraid of dying. Many people are afraid of everything. And we should try to step on this fear and move forward no matter the circumstances, because we are learning throughout this story that we shouldn't be afraid of death, because death is coming anyway. So do we prefer to live a passive life without doing anything because of this fear we have, or do we want to try to leave our footprint on the world and make a change? Personally speaking, I prefer the second option. I don't want to live my life passively and quietly just because I am afraid to express my opinions. I prefer to stand out and say what I really think. As much as I said throughout all these stories that I don't like the church and I don't like everything that it has done for more than 2,000 years, yeah, I say it honestly, and I am not afraid of saying these things, because you all understand what happened throughout the centuries. It's not a mystery anymore. I am not afraid of speaking up. There should be people like these, because if you're afraid, then you create a predominant society that is a little part of the society that really is. And this little part of the society can dominate you, can force you to believe certain things, can impose its ideas on you and control your mind for centuries and centuries. While I think that by being an individual, I should feed my curiosity first. And then, yeah, with my thoughts, I can inspire others. That's what Rafael did, sincerely. And I appreciated what he did, because that's exactly what happened. I mean, Rafael died, but at the same time, he inspired other people after dying, and this inspiration could go on throughout the years. That's exactly what I mean. In order to change the world and in order to establish a society that is definitely better than the usual one, we should keep learning for ourselves first, and then to inspire what we have learned, creating ideas to be shared with others, and that can help to create communities. They are not already built communities based on the usual ideals. They are communities built by different opinions, by fresh opinions, and not the usual ideals spread and spread and spread, you know. If an individual can extend its mind, I told you already, our brain is like the universe. It can contain so many things that are still unknown, and we can help ourselves to develop thoughts that the usual preconceived ideals that the society is spreading are not comparable with those new thoughts that our brain, our own brains can develop. So I think that right now we are in the perfect time to do this, to help ourselves with technology, as much as I told you previously, but help ourselves to learn more for ourselves. And let me tell you, there are many circumstances in which you find lots of things, you discover many controversial things, then you do 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 and you get a result. And even if some people believe that these are coincidences, sometimes they are not. And they try to convince you that these are coincidences because these are the pre-installed ideologies that society is trying to continue to let you believe. You think that you have to follow what the society is telling you because otherwise you are an outcast, otherwise you are left aside from the society itself. And this is the perfect way of a self-defense. It's like the church when it wanted to survive. The same thing. The society itself is trying to survive because it understands that the people are waking up and they are seeing certain things that are not correct or certain things that are pre-established and you're just leaving them without doing anything, you know. What Raphael is saying is very inspiring because he says, keep going on believing in these. Yeah, it's the opposite from what his father said, but I agree both. I mean, I agree the fact that you should keep going on doubting about what you see, and at the same time, believe in the doubts you have. Because if you find something that you're not convinced too much in, then this makes you understand that your own soul is responding to these in the right way. I feel that we are pure energy. Energy can't lie. So if the energy we feel is good, then we should go on believing in what we think it's right. Because something is telling us that we're on the right path. So we shouldn't doubt about that, but the more we go on and the more we encounter certain things, we doubt first, we create our thoughts, and then we go on. We continue in the belief we have, without being afraid of discovering certain things that might create in us a disillusion, as much as for what happened to many characters, but at the same time, keep doubting, keep wondering, keep believing. I think that these three words are the most important ones. That means believing, doubting, and wondering. Because these three can coexist somehow. And if we are able to take away from ourselves all the impositions we have had from the moment we were born and try to be independent from everything, it's difficult to do. It's something very difficult to do, but it's not impossible. Then our energy, what we feel, gets the priority of everything. If we sense something negative, our body is automatically responding to this, giving us the signs, look, be careful, or go on with that, because the instinct, yeah, we call it instinct, but I prefer to call it energy or soul. You can call it however you want, but the energy that we have inside ourselves is giving us hints when to proceed, when to stop, when to try to go on in a certain way, etc., etc. We are energy, and we are part of this universe. It's like as if each individual has a task, or each individual is a keyword for the cosmos, for the universe, call it as you like. And thanks to this keyword, we can reach a certain knowledge. And then if we talk to another person that represents another keyword for the universe, and we talk and we communicate, this is a keyword and this keyword can communicate. So they can start creating a word, and this word can become a sentence, and it's a way to decode the code of the universe. That's what I believe. And I think that this is very nice because we are all pieces of this universe. So we have to put the pieces together to understand the truth. But if we are reluctant to communicate, that's very difficult to do because we don't have the possibility to connect. And most of the times, that's what the society wants. They don't want us to communicate because if we communicate in peace, then the problem is that we might decode that code. But the society doesn't want that. So they, on the contrary, what's ruling on society wants us to fight, wants us to stop communicating and creating sides, creating parts of each side. So we keep debating, we keep standing one in front of the other one without communicating in the proper way, because we don't realize that we are all the same and they just try to confuse us. And that's why I say that if we follow society, we will always be confused. And if we don't follow it, if we don't follow these preconcepts that are pre-installed, we are feeding our own knowledge first, and then we communicate, and then we communicate, we communicate, we communicate, we communicate. We can create a beautiful tree that can give us lots of information. So that's what I told you, the roots that are feeding the leaves. And thanks to that, the tree can become a secular tree. The tree can become so big that can't be cut anymore because the trunk of the tree is so massive. See, that's just a metaphor, but I like to create metaphors so you understand what I mean. Everything came from a young boy. You understand that there are some individuals who have a great potential, more than others, but that doesn't mean that other people are inferior, because as you could see, Rafael could give some answers, even to the researches he was making, I'm sure, thanks to the communication with Albert, because Albert wanted to know. Albert was very curious, and this curiosity could repay him by learning other things from another person. I really liked even the fact that Albert, the grown Albert, decided to use the confessional, because in that moment he was talking to a priest, and that's something antithetical compared to what we saw throughout this story. That priest was not accusing him. That priest was listening to him more than confessing him. And even if it was through the confessional, he was hearing what he had to say, because he's forced to hear what he had to say. Even if Albert was in the confessional, and usually when you go to the confessional, you try to erase your sins or to pray because God is going to forgive you because of the sins you make. And let me tell you, to be forgiven by God by talking to another human being that it's supposed to represent the God on earth, that's already crazy to think. But anyway, throughout that time, I don't think that what Albert said, what Albert narrated to the priest, was a sin. It was a sin for the church because the church couldn't admit certain thoughts. But on the other hand, I think it was just a way for Albert to decrease his sense of inability to do anything, his confusion, and the pain he felt, because for sure something happened in his life that stopped this curiosity he had. Because for a second there was an instance, okay, while he himself as an adult was with a finger connecting these stars and creating the constellation, there was a frame for a second of someone that seemed to be dead. We have to discover it for sure in the last episode, because that's the last episode left of this story. But this is curious. I mean, I wanted to understand. See, I'm curious. I wanted to understand why Albert decided to stop wandering, decided to stop learning suddenly. If people are courageous, if people stand up for their rights, if people stand up for their thoughts, they are all courageous people, no matter if we like them or if we don't like them. We have to admire these audacity that they have to express what they think. And I think Rafael was one of the best characters in this story, because even if its role in the story was consisting in few scenes, those few scenes gave the chance for this story to be created. And once for all, I want to say this: it doesn't matter how many times you see a character in a story. If the character says something remarkable, that character is already important. Usually we see that the main protagonist is lasting all the story, okay, all the episodes. That doesn't make the protagonist a protagonist. In this story, the protagonist is Rafael. And we saw Rafael in a few scenes, but those few scenes contributed for all the other characters, the evolution of the other characters, the change of the other characters, and even the change of history. So as you can see, the importance of a little character like Rafael, that is a young boy who decided to learn, who decided to go against the society because it was more important to feed his own curiosity and inspire others. That's a character that deserves a lot. And even if he didn't talk too much, the times that he was talking were more effective than having a character throughout all the episodes saying the same things. Okay? So I think yeah, even if I said that the main character is Rafael, of course I wanted to praise all the characters we saw so far, because all these characters were important. It doesn't matter the length of the presence of each character in this story. It doesn't really mean anything. And this connects myself with the concept that it doesn't matter how much you live in this world. The most important thing is what you leave in this world as a testimony, as presence, as something you have done for your own sake, but also for the sake of the other people. To change the world, you don't need to care about society, because if, as I told you many times, if the society is contaminated or if the society is corrupted, how can you contribute for the sake of society? You can't. You should go against it in order to change it, you know. That's what Rafael is saying. And I think Albert had the best tutor, you know. He was very, very lucky. And sometimes it's not a matter of luck. It's just a matter of being curious to know. And you find the right people. I think that's very nice. But I wanted to see, because now Albert lost his curiosity, lost his interest, lost his will to pursue these tasks, these will that he had. So I really hope that the priest is gonna give him a good advice and not the usual advice. That means, okay, remember that the church is great, remember that you did the right thing by stopping getting in touch with this subject, because this subject goes against the church, blah, 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 blah. I really hope that this priest makes a difference. Okay, he will hear him for what he has to say. But I really hope that he changes things. Because I'm sure that there are priests working for the church who don't like the church. I don't believe that all the people living for that institution love that institution. Because even in our society, there are people who don't like the society as it is. So even in the church, there should be somebody who doesn't like the church. But he is staying there because that's the institution he or she chose. Let's see how this story will end, because next time it will be the last episode of Orb on the Movements of the Earth, episode 25. So let's see what happens. And I already told you that after Orb on the Movements of the Earth, we go on, we proceed with another story called The Apothecary Diaries. So stay tuned and keep on watching me. Thank you so much for the support, and see you in the next video.